What's going on, people? It is Irish Gunner HD here, you can call me Irish, and welcome to episode 33 of Will It Drift. So, today's car is the Chrysler PT Cruiser as suggested by DeadMoney125, and I hate you, dude, because, as standard, it has 220 horsepower, 244 foot-pounds of torque, and it weighs 3,426 pounds after the rear-wheel drive swap. And, I cannot lie, it is pretty bad, as you would probably expect. So, first off the line, it's not winning any drag races, just to say the least. Like, I think we can all agree that that wasn't to be expected. But there's not really any torque to it, like, at all. There's not 244 foot-pounds of torque, not really a lot. In a really weird way, it does seem like it wants to try to drift. Like, strangely, it does kind of go, yes, let's go, but it's just like the little engine that couldn't. Like, it just really can't. And as a result, there's not really any chance of linking corners because there's no real power in second gear. Like, it dies a slow death in second gear, and third is just a complete no-go. You will not be in third gear whatsoever in this car if you're trying to drift it. But it's probably not the worst stock car that I've tried, which kind of surprised me. Like, it kind of surprised me that I was expecting this awful atrociousness. Like the PT Cruiser has a reputation for just being atrocious, but it did allow me to drift to a small degree, even if it is like not technically drifting, even if it is just kind of pulling up the handbrake and hitting the clutch while turning into the corner and just kind of controlling that power slide. It was better than a lot of the stock cars that I've tried before. Then for the medium build, then we have 262 horsepower, 257 foot-pounds of torque, and it weighs 2,842 pounds. And the mods, as usual, are all drivetrain to race and all platform and handling to race springs and weight reduction, and sport cams this time for just that added bit of power. So, to be honest, I was really disappointed. It's painfully bad. It's the first time I've been really frustrated with a car to the point of just being like, oh, for the love of God, why are you so bad? Like, it took me over 5 minutes to get this first run, to get a decent one worth using in the video. And the reason I was frustrated so much by it is because I expected the stock build to be awful. Like, I think everyone would be, but this one was I expected this one to be a bit better, but it was like just slightly above awful. Like, it's really disappointing. It just loses all the will to live in second gear again. Takes a ton of clutch kicking at the right time just to make a transition from one corner to the other. And it's just awful. It's just really bad. It's like, I don't know, there's no power, as you can, like, I thought adding sport camshafts to get it up, it only added about 20 horsepower, but I thought it might do something, and like with the weight reduction and the stiffening, I thought we might have had something there, but it was just overall hugely disappointing. But then again, it's a PT Cruiser, I probably shouldn't have got my hopes up, which I didn't then for the full build. So if a PT Cruiser can look cool, I think I achieved as close to that as you can get. But yeah, so for the full build, it has 395 horsepower, so not even as much as the Impala had as standard in the last video. And 387 foot-pounds of torque, and it weighs 2,878 pounds. And as usual, full build and tune for the full build. And I have to get, like, my thoughts on it are, it's a 55 out of 100, if you know what I mean. I don't usually give scores, but like, that's all I could think of explaining it. It's just slightly better than what I probably imagined it would be. Like, probably its most redeeming quality is that it's quick enough off the line. It kind of gets up and goes to a certain degree, like, fairly well. But that could just be a placebo effect of having spent so long driving the two just awful builds. It feels nice, to be fair, I have to say. It feels nice. The body roll is gone. It feels like if it was any other kind of car, I would like how it kind of felt in, like, its kind of handling. The only problem is, it's a rear-wheel drive swapped Chrysler PT Cruiser, and as such, it suffers heavily from what I call front-wheel drive-itis, which means that no matter how sideways you get, it still feels like the front wheels kind of want to pull back forward again. It just doesn't want to stay sideways. Combining that with the huge lack of speed and torque, it really, like, it didn't like transitions. It did, like, especially the middle transition in both directions, it was just completely straighten up, and overall it's just terrible. Again, to be expected, I suppose, but occasionally these shitty cars do surprise you, and unfortunately in this case that just wasn't the case. So will it drift? No. Obviously, as ever, like, the rule is always applies that That's just my opinion. I just found it to be awful, slow, couldn't actually hold a drift at all more longer than like a couple of seconds. Everyone's different. If you're really, really good at drifting, you're probably, or at tuning and building cars, you probably maybe could get it to work. But my what I found was just absolutely not. It was not something I would ever consider getting in voluntarily or ever considering bringing to a public lobby. And it's probably something that's like gets an immediate delete for me. It gets immediately cleared out of the garage. But that's just my opinion. Let me know if you've tried one before, if you've built one and you've gotten to work. And that's about it. If you enjoyed it, please do leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching and goodbye.